We're going to keep things moving here on the program. Say hello to a legend. As a matter of fact, his 16th season in his second stint as the head football coach at North Carolina. The Tar Heels are 2-0 on this season. Got a home tilt on Saturday against North Carolina Central. Of course, he's a college football Hall of Famer. He is Mack Brown. He joins us here on the program. Coach Brown, we appreciate the time. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Donald. Thanks for having me on. We're excited about the game this weekend.
Absolutely. I want to start here. Your thoughts on the 2-0 start to this point for the Tar Heels?
Donald, we've done really well in the beginning. We started 2-0 5 of our 6 years here. So we've got this part down. And then we were 9-1, and then we didn't finish right. And then we were 6-0, and we didn't finish right. So everything that we've done since last January was try to rebuild this team, rebuild this culture to be a tougher run, play action, offensive football team, more aggressive, better tackling defensive football team to stop the run and be dominant in the kicking game. And through 2 weeks, we're really, really pleased with who we are and where we are and where we're headed. We've had the 2 NFL quarterbacks. And now we've got 2 inexperienced quarterbacks. We get one starter and he gets hurt and he's out for the year. So we're trying to find our way at quarterback, but we're trying to play a lot of players. We're trying to be 2 deep or 3 deep. We've had some injuries already and we're just rotating them in and letting them go. So this should be a fun challenge for us this weekend.
Absolutely. Let me take you back. We're going to talk about North Carolina Central. I got to take you back a couple of weeks ago because that was a big win for your program against Minnesota to start the season. I think when you think about Power 4 football, the ACC sort of gets a bit of a knock. You beat a Big Ten opponent in Minnesota on the road. By the way, speak to that, how you were able to do it. You get the late field goal, and then they miss a late field goal.
Yeah, Donald, it was perfect medicine for what we had preached. We had to go to a tough place. We had to go to a Big Ten place. We had to go to a place that had an older defensive line that could stop the run. We had to go to a place that has an older offensive line. 3 of those guys will be in the NFL next year that could run the ball and survive. And we did that. In fact, the Big Ten was 17-1 that weekend, and we were the 1. So it was good for us to play a tough opponent on the road. Then we had to come back and play a talented Charlotte team that's got 56 transfers that didn't play well against JMU in their opener, and see if we could keep our heads straight and not walk around with all the distractions and think we were being pretty cool and then get beat in that game. And we played hard. We played well. We left some points on the board, but again, there's some things that we can improve. So I really feel good about this team after 2 weeks. And now this week we're practicing, and they've talked to us about they want to play to a standard. They don't want to talk about who we're playing. They just want to play, and they want to have fun, and they want to be the best they can be. And we always say it, Donald, like many of us do it, but when you're a coach-led team, you can be good. When you're a player-led team, you can be great. And right now, we've got tremendous leaders on this team that are having fun and dictating a lot of things that we're doing, and I like the way they're handling themselves.
Mack Brown is the head football coach at North Carolina. He joins us here on the program. So I thought what was interesting when I looked at this, I didn't realize that the Tar Heels in North Carolina Central, with the close proximity, had never played before. I know the Tar Heels had played A&T this was before you had come back in 2015. You're familiar with smaller colleges. I didn't even realize you coached at App State back in the day when it was in 1AA. So speak to what this game in particular means to the communities of Durham and Chapel Hill.
Donald, first let me say what it means to me. I love Coach Bill Hayes, who's had such an impact in this state with not only race, not only sports, but he's touched so many lives, but HBCUs, and he's still raising money at this point. And he'll be an honorary captain Saturday. Bishop Harris was the first minority assistant coach in the ACC. I talked to the staff this morning about that. I can't imagine you going in for an interview and there's nobody in this whole conference that looks like you. and you're wondering if you're going to get the job or not. Then you get the job, and you are the only minority coach in a whole league. And we all talk about race today. Wonder how you felt walking in for that interview and walking out. And Bishop and I coached together at LSU. We lost him last spring, so his family will honor him as one of the representatives for honorary captain before the game starts. There's a gentleman named George Bulldog Smith who worked for me here. And he's been an associate athletic director at North Carolina Central for 30 years.
Right.
And he worked for me as a strength coach. We had Mad Dog, Bulldog. That's why I couldn't remember his last name. I always called him Bulldog. Bulldog and then Shep Dog. So we had the dogs doing our strength program. And I thought he should be honored because he's touched so many lives with kids at both schools. And that was such an important thing. And then Rod Broadway, he played here. Coach Hayes won 2 HBCU national championships. Rod Broadway won 5. And he did so much for not only this community, but this state. So when we played Florida A&M a couple of years ago, I thought it was great because we could send money back to the HBCUs, but also honor that group of schools and coaches. And I thought it was even better when we could do it here. Trey Oliver and I have been around each other some. I've met him some, the head coach at Central. I really like him. He's fun. He's done an amazing job. They've won more games in 2 years than we have. They've won 19 games in 2 years. Won the Celebration Bowl 2 years ago and went to the playoffs and lost to Richmond last year. So he has done an amazing job at Central. And that's what this weekend's all about. It's to bring attention to HBCUs, to bring attention to history about race in not only our state, but our sport and our community. And honor a school and try to help them get some money moving forward.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that because again, in that Florida A&M game it was either 2 or 3 years ago, and you all made it an HBC. It was like I forget the title of it, but it was as you mentioned, to honor HBCUs, which I thought was really, really cool. So because you have this legendary status, right? Like you may not look at it that way, but it's what it is, right? You've won a national championship. You got a 65% winning percentage. You're in the College Football Hall of Fame and still coaching, I might add. What do you remember about those days at Texas and then, of course, winning that national championship in 2005?
I remember winning the national championship against a USC team that had 2 Heisman Trophy winners on it, and they'd won 36 straight. I think we'd won 25 or 28 straight. And I remember standing out on the field before the game and standing there with Pete Carroll and looking at their team, and Greg Davis, our offensive coordinator, came up, and Pete walked off, and I said, "Greg, man, they got a great-looking team. Wow." And he said, "Well, turn around. You got a great-looking team too." And then it was one of the best games in college football history, and it was so fun to win with 16 seconds left, and then just talking to the kids afterwards because very few people get that feeling. And I remember asking Coach Royal as we were walking off after the game, I said, "What does this mean, Coach, to me in my life?" And he says, "It's ruined you for the rest of your life. Very few people get to do this, and you did." And he said, "Now you're going to want to do it again. So it's probably going to ruin it for you." But it's a moment that I remember because President Bush calls the next morning and says, "I don't know if I'm the best father. I don't know if I'm the best husband. I don't know if I'm the best president. But you do know you have the best football team in college football." And that's a very special moment in your life.
No doubt about it. A couple of more thoughts with Mack Brown, the head football coach at North Carolina. I want to get your thoughts on the college football expansion.
I think it's good. Every sport had a playoff system, really, but us. We had 4 teams, and we had the BCS before that. So, Donald, I think it's good, and I have some concerns. It's good that we're going to have a system like everybody else, and it gives more people a chance to get in the playoff and win a national championship. It means that a loss early doesn't put you out if you still win your conference championship. So I think there's some positive things. More people will have a chance. The second part of that is the season's going to be a lot longer for those that are winning. So what do we do with the regular season? And how do we make sure that the fans who are going to go to all these games, the families that are going to go see their sons play at all these games, have enough money? And how are we going to make sure that we as coaches adjust our practices so these guys are healthy through 16 games instead of 12 or 13? So all those things are things we need to look at. The other thing I'm really concerned about, if we've got 65 Power 4 teams and we're sitting here looking at bowl games, I don't want bowl games to go away. Because if you've got 12 that can get in the playoff, that means there's a whole lot of teams that can never get in that playoff. They're not going to, so they need to have a reward system as well. And bowls have been wonderful for all of us. It's a great experience for the players and the families. So I don't want that team that is never going to be good enough to get in the playoff not to have something to look forward to or to achieve. So we need to still do a great job with our bowl games.
Very well said. Last thought, because I want to respect the time. Look, you were doing fabulous as an analyst on ESPN. I mean, this, as you know, because you had a first time around at Carolina, did well at Texas, has been a coach for in excess, I believe now, of 35 years. What made you want to come back and do this job again now as the head football coach at North Carolina in your sixth season in the second stint?
Well, it's a great question. There's been days where my wife and I both said, I left that job to come and do this, and we just lost. What am I doing, man? I'm sitting here. I must be sick. I got to be crazy. And coaches are a little crazy, number one, to do that. But what I felt was, as much as I love TV, I have a better purpose when I can come back here and help change people's lives. And you can give people information from behind the scenes as a coach in football and on TV. I could do that. I really like doing that. But when you're sitting there and in a team meeting and you're talking about mental health, and you said, if anybody's struggling, come and see us. This is really important to us. And a young man comes up and says, I was on a bridge 2 nights ago, and coach, I was going to kill myself. And you just got me. You just got me. I mean, you're talking about having a powerful purpose in someone's life. So you better be careful what you say, because they're listening. But number 2, you have a chance to help growth in some lives. You have to have a chance to help change some lives. And then in some cases, you may have a chance to save some lives. And that is a powerful, powerful purpose. And Donald, that's why I came back, and that's why I'm still coaching. I love football. I love the kids that play it, the coaches that coach it. Everybody talks about the coach on the other team. I respect the coach. If he'll just act right and do right and wants to help these kids, he's doing what I'm doing. So I love PJ Fleck. I love my relationship since Saturday with Coach Pogge down at Charlotte. We've talked numerous times, and we had never met before that. So I love the coaches that coach this game. I love the players that play it, and I love the games. I love the competition, and I love trying to get ready to play every morning. How many people can get up every morning excited about their day and have an edge and try to whip somebody else on the other side, take away something they want and move forward with it and learn from it? And that's what this wonderful game teaches you.
Wow. Again, a legend, Mack Brown, the head football coach at North Carolina. He joins us here on the program. The Tar Heels are hosting North Carolina Central this Saturday. Coach Brown, appreciate the time. Continued success to you and the Tar Heels.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on, and thanks for all you do as well.